So good afternoon, students. So in yesterday class, we discussed regarding discovery of cathode rays, and the cathode rays consists of electrons, irrespective of the nature of the gas taken in the discharge tube. Always cathode rays consists of the negatively charged particles, none other than electrons. Okay. So now we'll come to know that. So atom is divisible, and atom consists of negatively charged particles called electrons. Okay. But on the whole, the atom is electrically neutral. Means that there must be some other particles which is having charge opposite to the charge of the electrons. That means there must be some particles which are having positive charge and which must be equal to the charge of the electrons. Means total charge of electrons is equal to the total charge of the other particles which are positively charged. So based on this, so Goldstein has carried out some experiments by using the same discharge tubes, and Goldstein did a small modification in the discharge tube. So instead of taking a cathode, Goldstein has taken a perforated cathode, and anode is taken as it is. So anode is placed as it is. Instead of taking cathode, a perforated cathode is taken. Inside this, a photographic film is placed. Now, right now, what you know, from the cathode rays are produced, they travel in straight line towards anode. Okay. Now, in addition to that, so Goldstein has observed some bright spots here on the zinc sulfide screen. What does it means? It means that in addition to cathode rays, some rays are travel from anode to cathode in straight lines. Whenever this strikes, and these rays when coming out through the perforations of cathode, they will strike on the zinc sulfide screen. Then we can observe a bright spot. Means that some rays are produced from anode and they travel in straight lines towards cathode. And Goldstein has named these rays as canal rays. Since these are coming out through the perforations of cathode, he just named these as canal rays. Then what does this canal rays consist of? So this canal rays consists of positively charged particles, nothing but positively charged gaseous ions, not protons always. Let us see the characteristic properties. Similar to J. Adamson experiment, Goldstein also has studied the nature of canal rays, which are known as anode rays. Either canal rays or anode rays, both means same. Since these are produced from travel from anode towards cathode, these are named as anode rays, and these are coming out through the perforations. There is canals of cathode; they are called as canal rays. Okay. Then what are the characteristics of canal rays? What does this canal rays consist of? Canal rays consist nothing but anode rays. Canal rays or anode rays. Anode rays contains material particles. Anode rays consists of material particles. Next. And just like as cathode rays, if you have placed an object here in the path of canal rays, then we can obtain the image of this object. So from this, what will come now is, just like as cathode rays, these canal rays also travel in straight lines towards cathode. So anode rays travel in straight lines. Then what does this anode rays consist of? See, cathode rays consists of negatively charged particles, nothing but electrons. But Anode rays does not contains positively charged particles, protons. So anode rays consists of the corresponding gaseous ions. Suppose you have taken hydrogen gas, the corresponding gaseous ion H plus, that is proton is present. Means in the discharge tube, anode rays consists of protons only when the gas taken in the discharge tube is hydrogen gas. Other than hydrogen gas, if you take any other gas in the discharge tube, the corresponding gaseous ions are present, not protons. So anode rays contains gaseous ions. For example, you have taken a gas X2 in the discharge tube. Then what the gaseous ion may be? The gaseous ion may be either X plus or X plus 2 or X plus 3, like this. So many possibilities are there, depending on the nature of the gas and the valency of that gas, valency of that element. So if I have taken a gas, the anode rays consists of the corresponding gaseous ion. And now, so here anode rays always does not contains protons. Anode rays contains protons only when the gas taken in the discharge tube is hydrogen gas. Otherwise, the corresponding gaseous ions are present. That means the nature of anode rays. Nature means here the characteristic properties, not nature. The characteristic properties of anode rays depends on nature of the gas. What are the characteristic properties? For example, take a E by M specific charge. So you have taken a specific charge E by M of cathode rays, that is always fixed, irrespective of the nature of the gas taken in the discharge tube. Cathode rays always consists of electrons and their E by M is constant. But E by M, nothing but a specific charge of anode rays depends on nature of gas. Depending on the nature of the gas, the specific charge of anode rays depends. For example, you have taken a gas X, the corresponding gaseous ion X plus is present. If you have taken a gas Y, the corresponding gaseous ion Y plus may present. So both are having different masses. Both may have different charges or sometimes even charge also. So there is the charge to mass ratio of anode rays is not constant. It is different for different gases, because different gases can produce different types of ions with different valences and they are having different masses. E and M is different for different gases. That's why E by M of anode rays is not constant. That is, the specific charge of anode rays is different for different gases when taken in discharge tube. Right, next. In electric field, the deflect towards negative pole. Means in electric field they are deflected towards, if you are applying an electric field perpendicular to the path of this anode rays, then they are deflected towards this is negative pole, that is this is positive pole, they are deflected towards negative pole. Since these are deflected towards negative pole, it indicates that anode rays consist of positively charged particles, which are none other than the corresponding gaseous ions of the gas what you have taken in the discharge tube. Next, one more. the charge present on the gaseous ions is equal to integral multiples of fundamental unit charge. See, what the gaseous ions formed in the discharge tube, they have different charges. Maybe like this, +1, +2, +3, and so on like this. And the charge present on the gaseous ion is equal to integral multiples of the fundamental unit charge. That means the charge present on the positive means gaseous ions is equal to n times of the charge of the electron. Charge of the electron is fundamental unit charge. And the charge present on the positive gaseous ions is equal to n times integral multiples of the fundamental unit of electric charge. Okay, see once again all the characteristic properties. Anode rays or canal rays are discovered by Goldstein based on the fact that atom is electrically neutral. Since J.J. Thomson has discovered a cathode rays which consists of negatively charged particles called electrons, so Goldstein assumed that there must be some positively charged particle whose charge must be equal to charge of the electrons. So based on that, Goldstein has carried out some experiments and he did a small modification in the discharge tube. Instead of taking a cathode, Goldstein has taken a perforated cathode. Behind that, a photographic film method zinc sulfide screen is placed here. Now, in addition to cathode rays, Goldstein has observed that some rays are traveling from anode towards cathode, and these rays come out through these canals and strike the zinc sulfide screen. There we can observe bright spot. So he named these rays as canal rays, which are also known as anode rays. Then, what are the characteristics of these anode rays? Anode rays contains material particles, nothing but the corresponding gaseous ions of the gas what you have taken in the discharge tube. So here, simple, on applying electric field here, what the gas you have taken there, that gas undergo ionization to gaseous ion plus electron, and the electrons moves from cathode to anode and gaseous ions moves from anode to cathode. So anode rays consists of negative material particles, nothing but the corresponding gaseous ions. And just like as cathode rays, these anode rays also travel in straight lines without any deflection in absence of electric and magnetic field. Third one, anode rays contains gaseous ions. Just now we discussed the same point. Next, the characteristic properties of anode rays depends on the nature of the gas what you have taken. Means nothing but what are the material particles in the anode rays. The material particles present in the anode rays is nothing but the corresponding gaseous ions. Taken a gas X2, suppose you got X plus. Suppose if I take a gas Y2, maybe Y plus 2, like this you can get. So charge differs, their mass differs. So properties of anode rays depends on the nature of the gas taken. Next, since different gases can produce different ions with different valences, E by M, that is a specific charge of anode rays is different for different gases. So E by M of anode rays depends on the nature of the gas taken in the discharge tube. Next, in electric field, these are deflected towards negative pole, which indicates the presence of positive ions in the anode rays. Next, the charge present on the gaseous ion is equal to nothing but anode rays or canal rays. The charge present on the particles of anode rays or canal rays is equal to integral multiple of the fundamental unit charge. That means the charge of the gaseous ion is equal to n times of the charge of the electron. Like this, canal rays are discovered by Goldstein. So cathode rays consists of electrons irrespective of the nature of the gas taken in the discharge tube, always fixed, that is. But anode rays always does not contains protons. So anode rays contains protons only when the gas taken in the discharge tube is hydrogen. See, if you take hydrogen, hydrogen splits into two hydrogen atoms, and then these hydrogen atoms undergo ionization as 2H plus 2 electrons. So these electrons are present in cathode rays, and these H plus ions are present in anode rays. H plus is nothing but known as proton. So canal rays or anode rays contains protons only when the gas taken in the discharge tube is hydrogen gas. Other than hydrogen gas, if you take any other gas in the discharge tube, then the canal rays consists of the corresponding gaseous ions, not protons. Okay, so anode rays or canal rays are discovered by Goldstein. When the gas taken in the discharge tube is hydrogen gas, then that canal rays consists of protons. Other than hydrogen gas, if you take any other gas, then the corresponding gaseous ions are present in the canal rays. So like this, Goldstein has discovered canal rays. Then these are the characteristic properties what we are discussing now. Now let us see, what is the charge, what is the specific charge of a proton? Right. See, the charge present on the proton is exactly equal to the charge present on the electron, which is nothing but a plus 1.602 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. Charge of electron, proton always equal with opposite charges. Plus 1.602 into 10 power minus 19. And then, just like as for electrons, the specific charge E by M of proton is also calculated. Just what we discussed yesterday experiment, like that, by applying the same process for protons also, the E by M of proton was discovered. And the E by M of proton was found to be 9.58 into 10 to the power of 7 coulombs per kilogram. This is the E by M of proton. Then what is the mass? Then mass of proton is equal to the ratio of charge to the specific charge, E by M, which is equal to 1.602 into 10 power minus 19 by 9.58 into 10 to the power of 7 coulombs per kilogram. If you simplify this, you can get as 1.672 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kilograms. So this is the mass of the proton. So charge of electron and proton exactly same with opposite sign. E by M of proton was discovered as 9.58 into 10 power 7 coulombs per kilogram. From the charge and specific charge of proton, we can calculate mass. So E by M. So E get cancelled, then remaining is nothing but M. So this is charge of proton. This is the specific charge of proton. Then the ratio of E to E by M, which is nothing but 1.672 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kilograms. Like this, protons are discovered. Okay. So this is regarding discovery of electrons and by J.J. Thomson, and proton, that is canal rays, by Goldstein. Okay. Now we'll come to know that the atom consists of electrons as well as protons. Okay. Number of electrons present in an atom is nothing but equal to its atomic number. Since electron mass is very much less, as compared to proton mass, we can neglect the mass of the electrons. So mass of atom means mass of the protons present in an atom. Right now what the information is known. So based on that, if you have taken a carbon atom, what is atomic number of carbon? If you take carbon, carbon consists of 6 electrons plus 6 protons. Okay, right. Now the sum of the mass is approximately 6 AMU as per now. But this is theoretical value. But experimental mass of carbon was found to be 12. So if atom consists of only electrons and protons, then atomic mass of carbon should be equal to atomic number, which is equal to 6. But experimental value of atomic mass of carbon was found to be 12. So from this what will come to know? This is a theoretical value, this is experimental value. Means that there must be some other particles in the atom whose charge which does not contains any charge, because atom is neutral. Already electron charge, proton charge will be neutralized. That means there must be some other particles which are electrically neutral and whose mass is nearly equal to mass of the protons. Then this double we can get nearly. That means this indicates that experimental atomic mass is found to be nearly double, not exactly, nearly double than the theoretical value. So from this we will come to know that there must be some other particles whose mass is nearly equal to mass of the protons. So based on this, some experiments was carried out, and later the scientist Chadwick, James Chadwick, the scientist Chadwick has discovered neutrons. Neutron, neutral means this is a neutral particle, electrically neutral. That's what is named as a neutron. Then how he has discovered a neutron is just has passed alpha rays through beryllium nuclide 4Be9. This is the representation of a nuclide 4Be9. When beryllium nuclide is bombarded with an alpha particle. What is alpha particle? Alpha particle is nothing but the nucleus of helium atom. Helium contains 2 electrons, 2 protons and 2 neutrons. If remove 2 electrons from the helium atom, then the nucleus of helium is remain, that is called as alpha particle. Simply, alpha particle is nothing but the nucleus of helium atom. When a beryllium nuclide is bombarded with an alpha particle, then along with the formation of carbon nuclide, a neutral particle was emitted. A neutral particle was emitted whose mass is slightly more than the mass of the proton. So when beryllium nuclide bombarded with an alpha particle along with the carbon nuclide, a neutral particle was emitted with mass nearly equal to proton, which is slightly more than proton, and this particle is named as a neutron. Like this, James Chadwick has discovered neutrons. So this is regarding discovery of neutrons. What about charge? Charge of neutron is 0, is electrically neutral. Charge of neutron is 0, electrically neutral. What about mass? There is no specific charge. Since it is electrically neutral, there is no charge, no specific charge will be there. Mass of neutron was found to be 1.675 into 10 power minus 27 kilograms. It is a slightly more than proton. What is the mass of proton? 1.672 we got there. Now here we got 1.675. into 10 power minus 27. So mass of neutron is slightly more than the mass of the proton. No specific charge. What about E by M? E is equal to 0. 0 by something is equal to 0. So there is no specific charge for neutron. So this is regarding a discovery of neutron. For all, neutrons are discovered by James Chadwick when beryllium nuclide is bombarded with alpha particle. Along with the carbon nuclide, a neutral particle was emitted, and this neutral particle is named as neutron, and this particle is having mass slightly more than proton, which is equal to 1.675 into 10 power minus 27 kilograms. This is about the discovery of neutrons by James Chadwick. Now let us see once regarding all these electron, proton and neutron, their charges, masses, specific charges we'll discuss. Electron, proton, neutron. What about charge? So what is the charge of electron in coulombs? Minus 1.602 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. So minus 1.602 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. This is the charge of electron. Then what about charge of proton? And one more. Here the charge of electron we can also express in terms of electrostatic units, ESU we can represent as. In terms of electrostatic units, it is 4.8 into 10 to the power of minus 10 ESU, electrostatic units. This is in terms of coulombs, this is in terms of electrostatic units. Charge of proton is also exactly same, plus 1.602 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. Then what about charge of neutron? 0. Neutron has no charge. This is the absolute charge present on the fundamental particles. What about relative charge? So what are the relative charges of electron, proton and neutron? See, the relative charge of electron is taken as minus 1. The relative charge of proton is plus 1 and a neutron is 0. So it's minus 1 and plus 1 are not absolute charges, they are relative charges. Relative to proton, the charge of electron is minus 1. Relative to electron, the charge of proton is plus 1. Plus 1, minus 1 are relative charges, there is no units. The absolute charges are in terms of coulombs or electrostatic units we can mention. These are the absolute charges present on electron and proton. These are the relative charges present on electron and proton. Then what about mass? See, mass of electron is nothing but 9.109 into 10 power minus 31 kilograms. This is in terms of kilograms. Since mass of the electron is very much less, we can represent this in terms of AMU, atomic mass units or unified mass, which is nothing but 0.000548 AMU. This is in terms of atomic mass units. So this is kilograms. If we convert in terms of atomic mass units, we can get this value. What is the relation known for us? 1 AMU is equal to how much? 1.66 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kilograms. This is this relation between AMU and kilograms. Now come to the mass of proton. See, mass of proton is nothing but 1.672 into 10 power minus 27 kilograms. And this in terms of AMU, if you convert, in terms of atomic mass units, if we convert, then so we can get a value of 1.00727 AMU. 1.00727 AMU. Simply, this 1.672 into 10 power minus 27 divided by this value. So kilograms we can convert into AMU by dividing with 1.66 into 10 power minus 27. Then you can get a value of 1.00727 AMU. This is the mass of proton in terms of kilograms and atomic mass units. Then what about neutron? 1.675 into 10 power minus 27 kilograms. This is the mass of the neutron in terms of kilograms. Then in terms of AMU, it is 1.00867 AMU. This is in terms of AMU. So this is mass of neutron in kilograms as well as in AMU. Then what about E by M? Specific charge of electron, proton and neutron. So the specific charge of electron is 1.7588 into 10 to the power of 11 coulombs per kilogram. This is the specific charge of electron. What about specific charge of proton? 9.58 into 10 to the power of 7 coulombs per kilogram, and for neutron 0. So this is regarding some fundamental characteristic values of electron, proton and neutron. All these values you should remember for solving problems and all those. These values are required here. Okay. So electron, proton and neutron, charge, relative charge, mass and specific charge of these three fundamental particles. Okay. Right. Now, so this is regarding the discovery of three fundamental particles whatever present in an atom: electrons, protons and neutrons. Okay. Now, what about arrangement of these particles? Where electrons are present, where protons are present, where neutrons are present. So after discovery of these fundamental particles, again some question arises in front of the scientist. These are nothing but what about the arrangement of these particles? How these particles are arranged in an atom? That means what is the internal structure of atom? So to explain that internal structure of atom, different theories are proposed. So J.J. Thomson proposed a watermelon model, which is known as the plum pudding model. Afterwards, Rutherford proposed a planetary model of atom. Afterwards, Niels Bohr proposed another model of atom to explain the arrangement of these electrons, protons and neutrons. Later we'll discuss regarding those theories of arrangement of these particles. Now, it is before going further, some other basic terms we'll discuss here. So still now what I will discuss is regarding fundamental particles. Discovery of fundamental particles, their characteristic properties and the characteristic values of charge, mass and specific charges of these particles. Now let us see some other basic terms we'll discuss. Afterwards we'll discuss regarding atomic models, means different theories proposed to explain the structure of atom. Atomic number. The symbol Z is used for representing atomic number. And one more term, mass number. A. Right. So what is atomic number? What is mass number? Again, atomic mass and mass number are not same. They are different. Atomic number, atomic number and mass number and atomic mass maybe or may not be same. They differ slightly. Atomic number is nothing but equal to number of electrons, or which is equal to number of protons in an atom. Number of electrons or number of protons present in an atom is called as atomic number. Then mass number represented by the symbol A. Mass number is equal to sum of protons, number of protons, symbol P we use, plus number of neutrons. The symbol is N. Simply A is equal to P plus N. Mass number is equal to sum of the protons plus neutrons. That is known as mass number. Now let us see some examples here. So we will represent a nuclide of an element with the symbol X is an element, Z is atomic number, A is mass number. Like this we can represent. Or the same we can also represent as X, Z, A. Like this also you can write. So this is the representation of a nuclide of an element. Here X is nothing but a symbol of the element. Z is nothing but atomic number. A is nothing but mass number. It is equal to sum of protons plus neutrons. Now I'll take an example 6C12. So how many electrons, protons and neutrons are present in 6C12? Let us see here now. Electrons, protons and neutrons. In any nuclide, number of electrons, number of protons is always equal. So what the atomic number is there? There is number of electrons. 6 electrons, 6 protons. Then see how many number of neutrons are there. See, as you know, mass number is equal to protons plus neutrons. It implies that number of neutrons is equal to mass number minus protons, A minus P. Mass number is equal to sum of protons plus neutrons. Then a number of neutrons is equal to mass number minus protons. What is mass number here? 12. What is atomic number? 6. Then 12 minus 6. 6. Take one more example. 7N15. Or you can represent here also, no problem. 7N15. This is an element. And here, how many electrons will be there? Atomic number 7. Number of electrons 7. Number of protons also equal to 7. Okay. And then, how many neutrons are present? Mass number 15, atomic number 7. Mass number minus atomic number 15 minus 7, which is equal to 8. This is nothing but A minus P. Mass number minus number of protons. Okay, right. Next, let us see some other examples to discuss now. See, when an atom becomes ion, either positive ion or negative ion, there is no change in the number of protons or neutrons. Only there is difference in electrons. When atom becomes ion, it may lose electrons or it may gain electrons. There is no change in the composition of the nucleus. Say, out of these three fundamental particles, right now we'll come to know that protons and neutrons are present in the nucleus of atom. Electrons are revolving around the nucleus. So when an atom becomes ion, then only electrons will lose or electrons will gain. For example, X is an element. If X gains an electron, it becomes X minus. X is an element. If it loses one electron, then it becomes X plus. So during these two conversions, only there is a difference in electrons, either gaining of electrons or loss of electrons only. There is no change in the number of protons or neutrons. Remember this first. When an atom becomes ion, either a positive ion or negative ion, there is a difference in the number of electrons only. There is no change in number of protons or number of neutrons. Now, I will take a cation here now. Fe plus 2, a cation with atomic number 26, mass number 56. Now, this contains how many electrons, how many protons, and how many neutrons? 26 Fe plus 2, 56. Right. See, when an atom becomes ion, there is no change in protons. Number of protons is always equal to atomic number, either the given is atom or ion. So, what is here atomic number? 26. So, number of protons is 26 fixed. Okay. Then, how many electrons are present? So, here Fe plus 2 means iron loses 2 electrons. By losing 2 electrons, we got Fe plus 2. Actually, iron atom contains how many electrons? 26 electrons. Out of 26 electrons, it loses 2 electrons. Then remaining electrons will be 24 only. So just a minute. Fe gives Fe plus 2 electrons. This is conversion. Iron contains 26 electrons because atomic number of iron is given as 26. Atom contains atomic number of electrons. So here 26 electrons are there. Out of 26 electrons, how many electrons are removed? 2 electrons are removed. Then remaining how much? 24. So now Fe plus 2 contains 24 electrons only. Protons remain same, 26. Then what is the number of neutrons? Number of neutrons, how will get number of neutrons is equal to mass number minus protons. So number of neutrons is equal to A minus Z. So what is A here? 56 minus atomic number 26. 56 minus 26. Number of neutrons will be 30. Simply this is equal to 56 minus 26, which is equal to 30. Simply, if a given ion is cation, if you want to find the number of electrons, from the atomic number, subtract the charge present on the atom. That is the number of electrons. That's all. Suppose if a given ion is anion, let us see now. S minus 2, 16, 32. One more ion here I have taken negative ion here. S2 minus, sulfide ion. Now, this sulfide ion contains how many electrons, how many protons, and how many neutrons? That I want here. What is atomic number here? 16. So, atomic number is nothing but number of protons fixed. This is either atom or ion, no difference in protons, which is equal to atomic number fixed. 16. Then, what is the number of electrons? Now, see here, yes, sulfur atom when gains 2 electrons, it forms S minus 2. Sulfur gains 2 electrons and forms S minus 2. Sulfur contains how many electrons? 16. And it gains 2 more electrons. Then total will be 18. So number of electrons is 18. Okay, then see, simple. If the given is anion, how anion is obtained? By gaining electrons. What is the charge present on the anion? Add that to the atomic number. That gives number of electrons present in the ion. 16 plus 2, 18. Positive charge is there, subtract. Negative charge is there, add. Just do opposite process. Then what is the mass number? 32 mass number, and atomic number is 16. 32 minus 16, which is equal to 16, like this. Okay, so like this we can find the number of electrons, number of protons, and number of neutrons present in an atom or ion. See, in case of atom, directly you can write atomic number is number of electrons, number of protons, number of neutrons is mass number minus atomic number. This is clear. Suppose in any case, if ions are given, if the given is a cation, atomic number is the number of protons, then a number of electrons is atomic number minus charge present on the cation. That gives number of electrons. Number of neutrons as usual, mass number minus atomic number. If the given is anion, atomic number is number of protons. Number of electrons is atomic number plus number of electrons gained by the atom. So what is the charge present on this? Add to the atomic number, you can get number of electrons. Okay, like this we can find number of electrons, number of protons, and a number of neutrons present in an atom. Okay, only say, huh? Absolutely. Okay, right. Yeah, this is for today's class. Remaining tomorrow will continue.